Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And all those celebrities who didn't give a poop about your free speech a couple of years ago, yeah, now they're all concerned about their free speech, and they are launching a McCarthy-era style committee, or relaunching rather, to defend their free speech. They want the right to say whatever they want to say, but hey, it didn't matter if you got kicked off of YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. Their opinions are more important than your opinions.
Oh, buckle up, because I am furious. Because, you know, like you said, they sat there, and I've always thought free speech was important. Whether it be, you know, somebody on YouTube, or whether it be that. I don't have to agree with you. As long as you're not saying stuff that's not true, right. I think it's important. Like most people. The difference is you guys didn't give two shits about free speech until you're afraid it's going to come for you. You guys have set the pace. You guys have made the rules. Everybody, you've been canceling everybody right and left. You've been fine with people being silenced for years. But now that you're afraid they might silence you, now it's a problem. And because we're famous people and we're important. You know what? I said in the last video we did about AI that I don't think people should be replaced in Hollywood. But you know what? Maybe if it's because it's replacing these people, I might not have a problem with it.
Ooh, so let's talk about that. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo. Oh, I'm pissed.
Go out to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com. Help support the channel. You can get some paywall content for $5 a month, and also you can sign up for free to be notified when we drop new videos. Yeah, so I just want to remind people before we get into this situation with Jane Fonda and friends.
Of course it's Jane Fonda. Hanoi Jane's pissed about something else again.
Of course it is. Walt Disney hated communists. He did. He tried to help the government get them out of his company. He was not happy with them, especially after they unionized and almost destroyed his company. And so many of these people have worked with or for Disney over the years. It's very, very interesting to see now that, Walt would not approve. I'm just saying.
But they're bringing this committee, because the committee was formed back then to try to stand up against, like, the committee that Walt was, testifying for, to protect the commies. And Jane Fonda's dad was one of those people on that committee. Oh, shocker there. Never would have guessed that, Jane. And look, I don't think anybody should be canceled over stuff like that. You should have your opinion, and that's okay. But I don't think that people, should be canceled over saying, hey, this vaccine seems weird to me. Or, hey, isn't it weird that mail-in ballots can count days after the fact? Were banned or shadow banned, or their accounts pulled, or they were silenced because they were saying things that the Biden administration, these people didn't like. That's fine. It was fine when, Roseanne Barr was silenced. It was fine when Gina Carano was definitely silenced, and it was really unfair. That's fine, because they were saying things we didn't like. But now that, we've set the tone for years, but the rules might apply to us because of what happened to Jimmy Kimmel, well, that's not okay. Because we're celebrities, and we're above everybody else's rules. And it's okay when everybody else is silenced, when the plebs are silenced. But when it comes to us, well, you can't do that to us. And that's what it's all about. Make no mistake, they don't give a two shits about your freedom of speech. They only care about their right to be able to say what the fuck they want at all times.
Yep.
Hollywood could not end itself fast enough, honestly.
Well, I think they're hastening their own demise. I think every time celebrities do something like this, the studios are taking note, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, well, I guess we just won't call you anymore. What's Tilly's number? Tilly Norwood? Yeah, we'll give her a call, right?
And look, I believe in free speech, but the thing that makes me mad is if they completely and truly believed in free speech and felt this committee was necessary because they believed in freedom of speech, they would have had this. They would have had this committee before the Jimmy Kimmel situation, because they only care about it now because we're going to have our First Amendment stripped away. You didn't give a shit. You cheered when other people's First Amendments got stripped away. You're just worried that you're going to get fired because you say something stupid. It's like you don't give two fucks about freedom of speech. I said even when Jimmy Kimmel got fired, I didn't think he should have been fired because I believe in freedom of speech. I don't think anybody should be censored for things unless it was like really egregious lies or they were threatening to kill people or stuff like that. People shouldn't be censored. They should be allowed to say what they say. They should also be responsible for what happens for them saying it. But you don't get to argue freedom of speech now after you've stood by and let it be completely buried for years and you were fine and cheered it then.
They cheered it on. They wanted conservatives stamped out of the industry completely. They were okay with it. They're like, oh, well, they're just Nazi. They shouldn't have said something stupid.
Jane Fonda, everybody knows, is a piece of shit. I mean, everybody knows that Jane Fonda has, she is ridiculous. And people have hated her for years. And there's good reason.
So here's what they're saying. All right, this is coming from NPR. NPR, which has an axe to grind, and this is celebrities. This is like the next level of TDS.
Well, you'll hear about all this because the media will carry this information.
Because the media is getting canceled too.
Well, the media is good. Is it all on the same side as these people?
Yep. And so now we see how the game is actually played. So when when their side is threatened, they oh my God, guys, red alert. Oh my God, they're gonna deplatform us. It's like, actually, no, you're gonna deplatform yourselves. And if we're actually being fair and letting other people speak, free speech, right, then people might actually pick them over you, which is kind of what's going on, I think. But they can't.
Oh, I'm so mad. I'm shaking. I'm so angry.
On Wednesday, over 550 celebrities relaunched a group.
Celebrities, entitled pricks.
Well, look at the list and you can see all the usual suspects, right? This is basically commies in Hollywood. Relaunched a group first organized during the post-World War II Red Scare, the Committee for the First Amendment. Again, just a reminder, Walt Disney hated commies. He did. He hated commies.
Well, because I knew it would turn out like it's turning out now. Now, I personally would be against that because I think if you want to believe that, you're allowed to believe that. As long as you're not doing things that are illegal or things that, have consequences for your actions.
He felt that they were going to destroy his company from within. And it's like, no, Walt, they were going to wait until after you passed to destroy your company from within.
They always got jobs at colleges, and here we are.
That's exactly it. Their intent is to stand up in what they call a defense of our constitutional rights, adding the federal government is once again engaged in a coordinated campaign to silence critics in the government, the media, the judiciary, academia, and the entertainment industry.
You're right. The government once again is engaged in a coordinated campaign that just happened a couple years ago when Biden was in office, and it turned out that they were silencing people on X, on Facebook, on all the social medias, on Google. We're talking Google just had to pay Trump a whole bunch of money for kicking his account down back in the day because it was wrong and it was censoring speech. You cheered when they took a sitting president and said he couldn't have a voice on social media because, he didn't say things you wanted to hear. But it was completely fine with you when Biden was out there, silencing his administration out there, silencing people right and left, and that companies were going along with it. You're all fine with that. But you're like, your First Amendment rights are being under question. Where are your First Amendment rights being under question? Because Jimmy Kimmel got in trouble for saying something stupid? And that they keep writing what the FCC said, but then even the companies that pulled him down said the FCC didn't tell them to do it?
The Kimmel situation was more of a business decision than it was
they were looking for a reason. And they're looking for a reason for a lot of you. A lot of you are has-beens are looking for a reason to get rid of a lot of you because you're problematic. But you are fine with it then, but now your First Amendment rights are supposed to be being violated. Where have your First Amendment rights been violated? Because I can show you a bunch of people who did have their First Amendment rights violated under the Biden administration. Where was yours violated? I don't see any of you keep your mouth fucking shut. No one's telling you to shut up.
Show me on the doll where the orange man touched you.
Yeah, I'm like, no one has said. All that happened was Jimmy Kimmel said something that was misleading. Disney was looking for a reason to get rid of him. They pulled him because Nexstar and Sinclair said they weren't going to run it, even though there was way more channels available. They didn't have to. They could have put him other places. They just did it because they were looking for a reason. And and even now his ratings are in the shitter again. And you're all like, it's First Amendment, free speech. It's only free speech. It's not freedom of consequence. That's what you've been telling us for years.
All right. So Henry Fonda was one of the early members of the first committee for the First Amendment, which was founded in the 40s to oppose the infamous House Un-American Activities Committee. Again, here's Walt Disney cheering that on because, he didn't want commies in his company, through which the federal government accused many top entertainers of being communist or communist sympathizers and derailed their careers. I think people got caught up in that net who were not.
Yeah, I don't think that was right. Threat. And I never thought that was right.
It became a witch hunt, But how is what they're doing any different? Well, they were witch hunting conservatives. They didn't want them anywhere in the industry.
They were the Hollywood and people who worked in the industry were behind witch hunting everything Gina Carano said and other things like that. It's okay when they do it.
Plot twist: the only ones that'll be left are Gina Carano and Tilly Norwood. They're going to be doing everything. But it says other members of the newly reformed committee include filmmakers Spike Lee, Barry Jenkins, J.J. Abrams, Patty Jenkins, Aaron Sorkin, Judd Apatow. These are all the people that you would expect. TV show creator Quinta Brunson, Barbara Streisand, of course, John Legend, Janelle Monáe, I guess, Gracie Abrams, Billie Eilish, Tiffany Haddish, Nikki Glazer, Mark Ruffalo, Anne
Shocker.
Hathaway, Kerry Washington, Pedro Pascal, of course, Natalie Portman, Viola Davis, and Ben Stiller. Fran Drescher signed it too. They said the committee was initially created during the McCarthy era. This is the letter they wrote. A dark time when the federal government repressed and persecuted American citizens for their political beliefs.
I see again everybody being silenced, shadow banned, or having their accounts removed for the last several years under Biden.
Because they were just normies. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if they deplatformed
they still
your
don't care
uncle,
about your rights. They only care about their rights.
Yeah, your anti-vax uncle. It doesn't matter if they deplatformed him, right? Because he's just a pleb. But my God, if they come for us, now it's a problem.
And my next thing is, again, where is your freedom? Where has your freedom of speech been violated? Jimmy Kimmel got, people because they said it was too close a situation. Disney was looking for a reason, and he said something that was shit. Okay, which I still think he should just been allowed to apologize and call it. I never thought he should have been canceled for that, which I've said since the beginning. That being said, where? Show me where you guys have had your free speech violated, because you don't shut the fuck up. You never shut the fuck up. Your free speech was never in question because you don't stop talking. It's constant. Jane Fonda, you caused so many problems and no one stopped you. So where's your free speech in question here?
Well,
where, Jane? Where?
She said she sounds like Joy Behar. She said, I'm 87 years old. I've seen war, repression, protest.
Look up Hanoi Jane. Look up Hanoi Jane.
Yes.
Yeah, look that up.
I've been celebrated and I've been branded an enemy of the state, but I can tell you this. Yeah, because you
kind of were an enemy of the state.
This is the most frightening moment of my life.
For fuck's sake.
So Jimmy Kimmel being off the air for like 3 days is the most frightening moment of your life. Maybe it's because you had dad's money.
It's the most frightening moment of her life is because they can't control what they had the power. They were fine with silencing anybody who had a different opinion. They were fine with silencing anybody who questioned elections. They were fine with silencing anybody who questioned vaccine mandates and things. They were fine with all of that because it was their side, quote unquote. Yeah. But now that you guys have set the rules for years and they're going to be like, okay, we're going to apply the rules to you. Now it's a problem. Now their freedom of speech is being violated, even though they can't show you any examples at all of where their freedom of speech are actually being violated because there isn't. And freedom of the press and freedom of speech are two different things. And none of you are the press.
The late shows are going to get canceled, most of them because of numbers, right? It's nothing personal. It's just business. But a lot of these people don't understand business. They sit there, they're champagne socialists. They sit in their mansions and grouse about the man, but they are the man. I mean, that's what's so weird. Like you are the man. You are the millionaire.
Right.
You are
They're the ones. They are out of touch. They don't care. Like bullshit, Joy Behar. Bullshit, Jane Fonda. That this is the worst it's ever been.
You're talking
bullshit.
It's like you lived through Vietnam, lived through the Korean War.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, we know
what happened to what happened to other people in Vietnam because of her.
Right. This is Hollywood losing its shit because they're afraid things are going to go back to center. And I'm a free speech guy. I've said this repeatedly. I think you should be allowed to say dumb shit as long as you're not breaking the law or. But it
doesn't mean you're free of consequences of what you say.
Right.
Which we talked about, that's how it goes. And if companies were okay to fire Roseanne Barr, Gina Carano, because they don't have to employ you. You have freedom of speech. If you say something stupid, they can make you unemployed. But you can't do it to them. I'm sorry if I'm yelling so much in this. I am just one thing. I can't stand liars and I can't stand hypocrisy. Those are like two things that I loathe. And this is just both of these things in one, but definitely hypocrisy, and led by Jane Fonda of all people. It's like anybody should check their, arrogance and they are cause of a lot of problems for people. It's Jane Fonda.
Yeah. So this is, I just want to remind people, Walt Disney himself.
I don't agree with that either. I don't think that anybody should have been, people were unfairly accused and it was a witch hunt. And I don't agree with that. But this is not a witch hunt right now. It hasn't been a witch hunt for Hollywood because Jimmy Kimmel got in trouble for saying something. And the media keeps wanting to run with it was the FCC, even though there is no proof it was the FCC. And the places that have said in their statements, no one told us to decide to do this. We did this on our own. But no matter how much they say this, the media keeps running with it. But none of these people are anywhere near a witch hunt or in jeopardy of losing their First Amendment anything. None of them are even remotely. But they stood by when people actually were losing their First Amendment rights and said nothing because it didn't impact them. and it was just the plebs. And they had the wrong opinion anyway, so they deserve it. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequence unless you're us.
Yeah, pretty much. That's it.
Fuck
it's
you
rules.
all. If I had a list, I'd read every name and say fuck you after it.
I think they're going to fuck themselves. I think studios are going to be like, you know what? Yeah, it's time to move. It's time to move on. It's time to move on.
I'll do a video of naming every celebrity and saying fuck you on it.
I bet a lot of these people are nothing burgers. They just put the biggest celebrities on the list. But I mean, if you're smart at this point, your job is to entertain to the largest audience possible, to make money for yourself, but also the studio. That's why they hire you. Go watch Hail Caesar. It's one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies. I love the scene where George Clooney's character spouting off about he was kidnapped by commies. He was kidnapped by socialists, and he's spouting off to the studio fixer, which is Josh Brolin, about communism, socialism, whatever. And Josh Brolin just looks at him and just starts slapping the shit out of him. He grabs him by the collar. He's like, "Listen here, you work for the studio. You get out there and you make the picture. This is the way things work, motherfucker." I
don't think anybody thinks that's okay. And
it was a joke.
I know it's a joke, but I'm just saying, like, nobody's saying there shouldn't be freedom of speech. Except for the Hollywood celebrities only care about it now, even though there's no evidence that's going to come for any of them other than the fact that Jimmy Kimmel got in trouble. He fucked around and found out. And it was short-lived. And now his show's still in the shitter because no one liked him to begin with. Yeah,
that's just it. These people are going to fuck around and find out.
Well, you know what? I think you find who they are and don't support their projects. Because it's bullshit. Because, it's like, I don't think anybody should be canceled. I think, I don't think anybody should be canceled because of what they say unless it's really egregious. I mean, they have to be held accountable, but they have the right to say it, but they have to face all the repercussions for saying it. But this whole double standard is I'm over it. And I'm so tired of Hollywood. If you don't think you can make people hate you more, you're insufferable, arrogant, up your own ass, thinking you're the only opinion that matters. And you're always on the side of right and justice. Even I don't see all you giving your money away. Y'all, we need to be like, I don't see you paying for all the people coming in illegally. Actually, y'all like, riots, just don't come into my neighborhood. None of you put your money where your mouth is. You're a bunch of entitled ivory tower asshats who just got to throw your opinions, vomit your opinions down onto the masses from your high up tower thinking it's not going to impact you. And when anything comes remotely near you, you duck and cover and start screaming like a little baby pissing your pants about your rights. You don't care two shits about anybody else's rights. And you were fine with other people having their rights violated, but don't violate yours. None of you are even in danger of that right now. Don't say stupid shit. It's not that hard.
All right, we're going to wrap it up?
Yep.
Let's wrap it up. All right, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.